Hey you guys, I'm Lisa from theScore eSports, and we have a special guest in office, Santorin. Thank you for coming.
Thanks.
So MSI is starting very soon, so I wanted to get your thoughts on the tournaments. Let's start off with, will you be watching? Because the hours are not very good for us on the East Coast. Will you be watching the tournament?
I'll definitely be watching most of the games. Some of the games are like 6 a.m., so I might have to cut those and watch them later, but I'm definitely really excited to see at least like the ones from 12 to like 4 a.m. or something.
The ones that you can actually watch?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about the teams that are going to MSI, starting off with NA's representative, CLG. You've played against CLG in the past, though the roster is a little different.
Yeah.
What do you think of CLG and how they might stack up amongst the other international teams?
I think CLG is a very strong team in terms of communication and playstyle. I think they have some weak players on the team that might get exploited at MSI. I'd probably consider them a top 4 team at MSI. I think teams like SKT, Royal Club, and G2 will probably do better, but I think they're like right below them.
Do you think NA is sending their strongest team? There's arguments that Immortals was really strong throughout the season, TSM might have been stronger. How do you think CLG is a great representative for NA?
I mean, Immortals didn't really show up in playoffs. I feel like they were the best team in LCS in NA, but they had a really bad few weeks, and I feel like they didn't read the meta correctly. And if they didn't do that at MSI, they would not even be close to winning, right? So I feel like it really depends on how they read the meta, and I think they would probably have done better than CLG if they read the meta correctly. But because they didn't do that, then I think CLG would have been a better pick for us. And then also because CLG did beat TSM, so like I can't argue that TSM was better when they beat them.
Like they won it fair and square.
Yeah, exactly.
And now over to Europe, G2 Esports. With you playing in Europe the last season, did you ever cross paths with some of, I guess, like Perks or Hybrid, the rookies of that team?
So I, a long time ago, used to do a queue a lot with Perks. Back then he was sort of a nobody, like nobody really knew about him. He was just like a really good solo queue player. And I've definitely seen him grow a lot. He used to be very aggressive, but too aggressive, but now he knows the boundaries and how aggressive he can play, and I think he's a really strong mid lane right now. Also, the jungler, when I was in Europe, I got to scrim a bit against him, and before the season even began, I was like, okay, this is going to be the best jungler in Europe. So I
Trick.
actually...
You're talking about Trick?
Yeah. I think Trick is the best jungler in Europe right now, so it's going to be interesting to see him with MSI.
And Roll Never Give Up is the LPL team going to MSI. Yeah. Do you follow them a lot, and what do you think of them?
I follow them a decent amount. Like I think I mainly watch them because of the jungler. I thought like the jungler, he was really good, and he played sort of like a play style that I think most junglers should be playing. Like love playing Nidalee. That's like mainly why I watch him, because I'm also a Nidalee main. I think they definitely have a chance of beating them, but again, like I still like favorite definitely to SKT.
And then there's the other two regions, there's Supermassive and Flash Wolves. It's kind of like a question mark. How do you think they will perform at this tournament?
I mean, I think last time I played Flash Wolves was like Katowice 2015, a long time ago.
Yeah.
Back then, they didn't seem like, they didn't have the synergy yet, but I feel like a year later, I mean, they probably have more coming into it. I still consider them sort of underdogs, both Supermassive and Flash Wolves, but I still think they can definitely take games off of teams, but I don't think they're going to take a best of 5.
That's fair. Now, which team do you feel might be able to surprise us at this tournament?
I mean, if anyone surprises, I don't even think you can call it a surprise, but it would be G2. I don't think SKT was surprised if they took it.
Yeah.
I don't think Royal is going to take it, but I think G2 has, like, just because they have a really aggressive playstyle, I think that might caught people off guard. But that would be the only team that I see potentially having, like, winning the tournament.
And is there a particular player that you think we need to keep an eye on?
I mean, I always, like, I really like Trick. Like, I really like Trick, and I think he knows how to play every single champion well. He knows how to snowball the right lanes, and he might not seem like the carry on G2 because you have someone like Perks, but he's always there at the right place, and like I just want to see him against other junglers, to be honest.
And now, you know, MSI, there's a new change to it, how the winner of MSI actually affects the seeding of at Worlds. So do you think that change has a huge impact on how players are coming into this tournament? What's the impact, do you think, of that change?
I think it's definitely putting more pressure on them, because like now they're like, okay, now there's even higher chance of me making Worlds if I make this. Besides that, I think it's still going to be sort of the same as last time. I mean, it's winning an international tournament. Like, everyone has a lot of pressure on them, and everyone wants to win. I think it's cool having a seeding from MSI because that shows like, okay, you win a spring split, you get to play at MSI, and you have an even higher chance of making Worlds. Whereas, like, if you win Summer Split, you're already qualified, right? So I think putting MSI in there is actually really nice.
Cool. And now finally, we have to make a prediction. Who do you think will win MSI this year?
I think SKT is going to overtake it.
What percentage? Is there a chance? Is it like a chance?
I mean, it's probably like 80 to 85% SKT and then 15%, maybe 10% G2 and then 5% Royal for me.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much for this interview, Santorin. And you guys, be sure to download our app and subscribe to our YouTube channel for all our coverage from MSI.